Clean didn't mean wasteful, it meant wise. In ancient Egypt, water was precious, the desert dry, and yet people cultivated habits that kept them not only clean but comfortable, fragrant, and confident in who they were. To them, cleanliness was not vanity, it was ritual, identity, and even a way of honoring Ma'at, the balance that governed everything from river to household. Tonight, we'll walk through those habits step by step, from sand scrubs to copper jug baths, from beeswax grooming to fresh linen. From beeswax grooming to fresh linen, from drying under the desert breeze to drifting to sleep with the faintest scent of soap. You'll see how low water methods worked, how oils and cloth helped the skin, and how rituals of cleanliness shape daily rhythm. For our longtime listeners, this is perhaps our gentlest domestic episode yet, pairing beautifully with our explorations of food, dress, and leisure. For casual learners, you'll pick up timeless hygiene ideas, many still practical today. And if this is your first journey with us, think of it as a spa day in a sandland, a tour of ancient comfort, soothingly slow. Stay with me, from grit to glow. In 6 steps, you'll know exactly how the Egyptians stayed clean in the desert. Before water came friction, to the Egyptians, the first step of cleanliness was often dry, scrubbing away dust, sweat, and oils with tools and powders that needed no pouring, no river, no jar. Sand itself was a cleanser. Fine grains scooped into the hand and rubbed across the skin worked like a natural brush, loosening grit, drawing out oils, leaving the body refreshed. Sometimes ash was added, pale dust from burnt wood or reeds, its alkalinity lending a gentle cleansing bite. Mixed together, sand and ash made a dry scrub, more effective than water alone in removing the film of desert sweat. Tools helped, simple reed brushes, bunches of palm fibers bound together, even carved wooden scrapers, all used to work the sand across limbs and shoulders. The motion mattered. Long strokes down the arm, circular rubs across the chest, brisk sweeps across the legs. The act was both functional and ritual, a way of preparing the body for the day. There was a rhythm to it. In the cool morning, before the sun grew harsh, people stepped outside courtyards, stripped to simple wraps, and brushed one another down. Families helped, parents scrubbing children, companions tending each other's backs. It was communal, unashamed, the way laundry was shared or meals were eaten together. Cleanliness was not a private obsession, but a shared rhythm of life. Ash carried symbolic weight too. It came from fire, from transformation, and using it to cleanse was like beginning the day with renewal. The Egyptians saw no contradiction between dust and purity. To them, purity was balance, and balance began with sweeping away the night sweat, the previous day's dust. The sensation was invigorating, a gentle scratch, a warmth blooming in the skin as circulation returned. It left the body not polished smooth, but refreshed, ready. And just as important, it left the water jars untouched, saving the precious resource for when it was truly needed. But scrubbing was only the start. To feel fully renewed, one needed the water line, a controlled pour, a shared ritual, copper glinting in the morning sun. That is where we go next. After the scrubbing came the water, not buckets splashed, Not wasteful immersion, but careful, controlled pouring. The line of water as deliberate as a brush stroke. In Egypt, water was life itself, pulled from the Nile, stored in clay jars, carried in skins across long courtyards. To waste it was unthinkable, and so bathing did not mean submerging. It meant guiding the stream where it was needed most, with thought, with precision. The vessel mattered. Copper jugs, hammered to a soft sheen, were prized for this purpose. They caught the morning light, warming quickly in the sun, so that the water they carried felt neither shockingly cold nor too hot. Handles curved for easy tilting, sprouts shaped to release water in a steady ribbon rather than a clumsy gush. Even clay pitchers, more common, were designed with narrow necks to let the flow be slow, not sudden. The act itself was usually shared. One person held the jug, another stood ready to wash. Water ran down over shoulders, over arms, over the crown of the head, never in torrents, but in ribbons, just enough to carry away the loosened dust from the sand scrubs, just enough to freshen the skin. Hands rubbed gently as the water fell, smoothing the flow across chest, across back, across legs. Then it was repeated, the partners reversing roles. Bathing was a dialogue, not a solitary act. Sometimes, a bowl was placed beneath the feet to catch what fell, conserving it for rinsing tools, for watering plants, for scrubbing floors later. Nothing was wasted. Even in cleansing, balance was kept. The gods had given water in measure. People returned respect in measure. Etiquette guided the ritual. To pour too much was careless. To pour too little was neglectful. Steady hands, watchful eyes, respectful silence often framed the act. Children were taught early how to tilt the jug with balance, how to keep the flow gentle, how to use water as though every drop were sacred. And indeed it was. The sensation was different from our idea of bathing. There was no soaking, no immersion. Instead, there was the feel of cool streams tracing the body in lines, a freshening rather than a drowning. Dust and sweat carried off slowly, rhythmically, the way reeds bend in a breeze. By the end, the skin was awake, cleansed, but never drenched. Enough was always the right amount. The setting added to the experience. Courtyards, with their high mud brick walls, offered shade and privacy. Jugs glinted in the sunlight. Water splashed softly onto stone. Birds called overhead. Sometimes a sprig of herbs, mint, thyme, even lotus petals, was dropped into the water to give a faint scent, turning a simple necessity into a quiet luxury. And when the pouring ended, the body felt lighter, fresher, but not bare. The Egyptians knew that water opened the pores, and the desert air could steal moisture as quickly as it gave coolness. So, the ritual of pouring was always followed by another, sealing in softness, protecting the skin, shaping the self. And that sealing came not from cloth, not yet, but from wax and oil, a thin sheen, faint scent, a way of keeping both body and spirit aligned. The morning ritual was not complete until beeswax had been smoothed, until hair was shaped, until the sheen of modest fragrance wrapped the person like invisible linen. That is where we go next.